start off the top with my top 25 rankings going into week 2. The big mover at the top, number 1 is Georgia now. Georgia in my previous preseason was looking at about 3-4-ish, right? That's where I thought they might be in the college football playoff, a team that shows up in the SEC championship game and then demonstrates themselves to be on the eye test, one of those teams that should receive an invitation to the 14 playoff. But then they played Oregon. And it's not that they beat Oregon 49-3. It's that Oregon was ranked number 11 in the Associated Press top 25. And inside of my top 25, even traveling to Atlanta to play the defending national champs. Usually, I'm talking to you like most other people are, us filthy casuals getting at these other filthy casuals about Georgia's defense. But the diehard dog fan would be like, no. The offense is what you're going to be talking about in 2022 because it looks like Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldog offense has reached that upper level where their mind, body, and soul must be one. On some Bruce Leroy because the dude is Stetson Bennett. My goodness, a guy that walked on at Georgia 5 years ago, still playing football there, living his best life. The prototypical college football quarterback who also ran the Dallas Carter here, which I love. This was an outstanding TD and really not something I expected to see how to do wearing number 13 for the Georgia Bulldogs. And then he's able to escape, evade. Look at this. My God. And then he throws a touchdown pass, running away from Oregon defenders. All of a sudden, Stetson Bennett looking a lot like Bryce Young in 2021. Again, I did not expect to say nice things about Georgia and its offense in 2022, but that's where we are when Stetson Bennett goes 25 of 31 for 368 with 4 total tutties in 3 quarters of football. And then Kirby Smart's defense is still Kirby Smart's defense. As a matter of fact, Dan Lanning had the pleasure of coordinating that defense last year, and Kirby Smart used it to hammer him into the ground with his mostly SEC staff. Goodness me, who is going to stop Georgia in 2022 is the question for all of you. As a matter of fact, to that point, I asked the question, watching Ohio State Notre Dame late last night, would either one of these teams be able to beat Georgia? And even from many Ohio State fans, like, not today, dog. Week 1, it's Georgia. Everybody else can close the gap later on. But right now, we are pretty much all in agreement that Georgia is the class of the college football field, something that we're usually saying about Nick Saban and Alabama and how I felt until Saturday when they absolutely stomped a mud hole in Oregon and walked it dry. I also have Ohio State at number 3 here, mostly on 2 things. Alabama goes and beats up on Utah State 55-0, and Utah State is the defending Mountain West champ. They're not bad, guys. Alabama's just that good. It means the SEC championship game probably features Alabama and Georgia come December, and then we may have some variation of those two in the college football playoff, maybe in the national semifinal for back-to-back years, and the third time since 2017. But Ohio State looked really, really tough against Notre Dame. We'll talk a bit more about Notre Dame as we go on through the show, but I've learned a lot about Ohio State and its ability to play nasty football against a Notre Dame team that I got to say was not backing down. I expected this game to look not as lopsided as Oregon and Georgia, but really to cover the spread. And Notre Dame said, no, we are going to be in this for the entire game. We are going to fight and fight back. We have a new starter at quarterback who didn't even throw for more than 177 yards, and yet they're still in the game. They knocked out Jackson Smith and Jigba, which means that C.J. Stroud has to find someone else to throw the football to. Good thing that Brian Hartline is your wide receiver coach and passing game coordinator. And you got guys like Emeka Egbuka who can absolutely step up and make a play here. But you also have, my goodness, look at this catch. That's a walk-on, people. That's a walk-on making that catch. And then you're able to play smash mouth football at the goal line. Very excited to see what Notre Dame can do the rest of the way. And that's the other part about this. Notre Dame is still a good football team. You'll know that in my top 25, I had them still in the top 10, mostly because they're able to keep guys like C.J. Stroud in check for most of the game. This is a man who I had been used to seeing pass for over 300, close to 400 yards a game, had 4,400 yards passing last year. In this game, a modest 223, but also completed nearly 71% of his passes. You got outstanding run play from Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams toward the end of the game, and you're able to play the kind of nasty football that Ohio State needs to be able to win or to play to win the national championship. And as a matter of fact, Ryan Day said that's the kind of game we actually need to win. And we need more of those, especially as I, like you and many Buckeye fans, were questioning their toughness. I think we know now that they are tough offensively, that they can fight back from some adversity, and that Jim Knowles' defense is going to be all right. We're going to be all right. That's all right. A lot of all rights in there. Okay. Also in my top 25, you'll see Michigan cracked inside of it along with Florida. Take Michigan here for a second. One of my questions for Michigan going into this 2022 season is not necessarily about the quarterback. We'll talk about that in a bit, but what they were going to do defensively. You lost a first-round draft pick at safety in Dax Hill, who's the best natural football player I've seen with my own two eyes. Matter of fact, at one point last year, the starting safety for Michigan, or one of the starting safeties for Michigan, went to Tulsa, Booker T. Washington. Starting safety for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Josh Proctor, went to Owasso. That's like, I could throw a football to most of those places. Well, not Booker T. Owasso. I can throw a football to East Central. Point is, they're from my backyard, and I've got a particular brand of pride there. Then you lose Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo from that really great Michigan defensive front last year. And I asked, who are you going to replace them with? Well, it turns out Mike Morris is a guy, right? 6'6", 292 pounds, a kind of guy that's so athletic at that size that you can flex him out to standing in a 4'9" on second down as an outside linebacker at that sort of speed and size and ability to run with, oh my God, if you're 6'6", 292 pounds and you can run with running backs, what can't you do? And then you're able to add Ayabi Anoma coming from UT Martin as a grad transfer. Slyly, 3 weeks before the season starts, he gets on campus at Michigan, records a sack against Colorado State. I think the defense is going to be okay, even with all of the moving and shaking that went on. Jesse Minter, his first game, allows just 7 points against Colorado State. That's a great way to start there. Also in here, you'll see Florida. After what Florida was able to do against what I thought was a top 5 Utah team, and what the Associated Press thought was a top 7 Utah team, you got to put them in the top 25. It's not a team that I expected to be talking really well about after week 1, but I saw so much good from this defense, in particular, this interception here that seals the victory for the Florida Gators, as Cam Rising had an opportunity to try to win this game late, but fell just short. Now, that is the positive to take from this from Utah, is that you were in this game every step of the way and you had opportunities to stretch the lead over and over again. But credit to Florida, who bent and bent and bent and did not break, who watched Mohamed Diabate leave Florida to be a linebacker at Utah and probably had some sort of psychological leverage on some of those players, if not the scheme, because we're talking about a totally different regime here. But I also learned that Anthony Richardson can play with poise and is an outstanding Urban Meyer, Dan Mullen style of quarterback playing for Billy Napier. Kind of guy that at that size, about 6'5", 240, you expect to be able to take off and run, and he did. He had over 100 yards rushing in this game. It's one of the reasons why Florida was able to average over 7 yards per carry against a Utah defense that had made its name over the past 20 years by, quite frankly, stopping people from running the football on them. There's also an opportunity for Utah to try to get an edge on playing in the college football playoff based on how they played against a Class SEC team, or at least a Class SEC program, having won national titles in 2006, 2008, and really helping vaunt the SEC to the front of the line as the best league in all of college football. Florida showed me something offensively, defensively. I think it's going to be a really great game when it comes time to play the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville later this year against the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm excited about that. Back to Michigan for just a second here. Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy are dueling for a job out in front of everybody in public. Not necessarily the way that I would want to do it, but that's the way that Jim Harbaugh wants to do it. So Cade McNamara got the start against Colorado State. He finished 9 of 18 for 136 with a TD. I don't think that's really going to get it done, because this is the best play he made all day. A 61-yard receiving touchdown by Roman Wilson is what goes down in the stat book, but you saw that. That's a swing pass. You dump the ball to the guy that returns kicks for you, and he took it the rest of the way. That doesn't necessarily show me a whole bunch about who Cade McNamara is and how he can operate. Also add in there, when J.J. McCarthy was able to come into this game from time to time, he was 4-4 on passing situations, And that made me feel a little bit better about what he's capable of. But it's obvious that the Michigan offense really likes them, Cade McNamara. He's one of the captains on that team, and he's one of those guys that really leads this program. But you saw there with J.J. McCarthy, man, that dude in the open field is a menace. And I think when you get into the class of the Big Ten, you're going to need a quarterback like J.J. McCarthy who can run through people and can outrun the people that are chasing him, especially at a place like Michigan where everybody expects you to run the ball first, second, and third down, and then try to play, or first and second down, and then try to play action pass off the third. JJ gives you a little bit more to do. And quite frankly, I'm more terrified of JJ McCarthy than I am Cade McNamara. And that's usually the best way for me to say that I'm going to pick a quarterback. Which one of these guys is the one that I'm afraid of when we play scout team? That's the guy that probably needs to be my starting quarterback. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.